Hi, this is Erica DELSIGNORE. I'm the founder of Daily Lead Campaign, and I am bringing you yet another exciting installment of Great Minds, Great Marketing. Today I have a fantastic expert and a great friend, Kevin Donahue. Kevin has been in sales for years and years, and he has become an expert by being at one point a partner in a Sandler Sales Franchise, and then bringing those skills that he helped so many entrepreneurs with into corporate, where he was able to help corporations build their sales forces into sales forces that could bring in millions and millions of dollars of revenue for the company. And he did it in a short amount of time. So the thing that we could talk about today is going to be how to turn any sales conversation into an appointment. And even if you're out and about and you're just in an elevator with somebody, being able to explain what you do in a way that might pique their interest, that is what we're going to talk about today. And just mind you, like, I could have Kevin on here every single week, and he would have incredible information for us about sales. So listen up, because we're going to be learning a lot of great things. So Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to Great Minds, Great Marketing.
Thank you, Erica.
Now, I wanted to talk to you first about your interesting hobbies and also how you got into being a sales expert. So there's two questions there. I know that your hobby is a very hot topic right now, looking at the season that we're in. So tell us a little bit about both of those things, and I'm sure everyone's going to love your story.
Sure. Well, thanks again. And so my interesting hobby is that I own a semi-pro football team. The team plays in the New England Football League, one of the largest semi-pro leagues in the United States. And real proud this year, my team won the AAA Organization of the Year award. We also took home the Coaches Award, Coaches of the Year award. And you know, it is directly related to my profession in some ways, Erica. You know, in my role as a trainer and coach, consultant, and trusted advisor to many businesses and sales professionals, I do a lot of coaching, very similar to the football team, where I not only help coach the players, I also manage the coaching staff as well. So I think it's a natural skill set for me. My dad was a high school football coach for 48 years. My brother, my nephew, everybody coaches football. So there are a lot of similarities. And yeah, we're all excited about the Patriots playoffs coming up. And I'll be at the two games at Gillette Stadium. We are kind of football crazy around here, but you know, there's a lot of correlations between sports and sales as well. So between competition, et cetera, et cetera. So thanks for asking. We had a great year this year. We're looking forward to a great year in 2017.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm really excited about all of the awards that you've won, and congratulations. I mean, I'm assuming that the coaching award went to you and your staff, so that's amazing. Let's see. So that's what you're doing for fun. Actually, that sounds like a lot of work, but why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into sales in the beginning?
Fair enough. So how I got into sales in the beginning was from a very early age. I was always involved in various youth sports, and this may seem kind of off subject, but I think it tells the story. I was involved in youth sports, and we always had fundraisers, and we had to go out and sell fudge, or candy, or raffle tickets, something like that. And it was just in my competitive nature that even from the age of 9, 10, 11 years old, it was really important for me be number one going out there in these fundraising contests. So literally from a very early age, I would go door knocking, and I'd knock on more doors than anybody else, and I always did really well. I parlayed some of that experience into a newspaper route when I was a kid. That I actually bought out a couple of the routes next to me and turned that into an entrepreneurial endeavor, which ended up paying for my my private high school and my college tuition. And I've always been in sales. I came out of college and I went to work for Prentice Hall Legal and Financial Services in the sales department. From there, I wrote a business plan and sold it and became VP of Sales and Marketing for a company called Legal Information Services Network. From there, I went and I became CEO of a large regional chamber of commerce for about 16 years. I had a lot of sales and marketing responsibility in that role. And from there, I jumped to Sandler, and yeah, I'm sure we can get into some of my other experience going forward. But that's how it started. I just had a natural kind of interest and competitiveness to be in sales.
That's fantastic. And I think a lot of the salespeople that I talk to really do go back, and it starts with those fundraisers, because I did the same thing. I sold CDs, and I want to say CDs and something else at the time. Oh no, it was cassettes back then. My God, I'm getting old. But we sold. I outsold everyone, and of course my mom was a really popular waitress at the only Chinese restaurant in Lewiston, Maine, and she helped me sell too. So I won a little black and white TV that was a clock radio, and I just, for being the top one in the elementary school. So I know exactly, like, those are the people like, wow, it really feels good to be number one. Why don't I do this all the time? Let's see. So when you were out there, in business, this is the part where I ask you about a challenge that we can all learn from. And it can be a challenge that you either turned around or maybe one that you didn't. And it was just, we all know that we either win or we learn. And so that's really what we're looking for here in that question.
And it's a good question. So I guess an example I could share with you is when during my time at the Chamber of Commerce, okay, we had developed a chamber from a 200-member chamber to an 800-member chamber, and that came with a lot of selling along the way, selling memberships, selling sponsorships to drive revenue within the organization, just a lot of that type of activity. And I always thought we were successful. I always thought, we did a great job. And a typical scenario would be a local business would come in and talk to me about joining the chamber, and I was really proud about what we had been doing, the impact we had had on the local business community, etc. And I could sit there and tell them probably 100 different things that the Chamber of Commerce did to help make the business community better. And I was thinking at the time, it was all great information for the business to know how we could help them. The lesson learned was when I first got introduced to Sandler Training, and Sandler Training really gave me a new perspective on selling. And while my meetings, new membership meetings before had been all about me explaining the chamber and our features and benefits and everything we were doing, it didn't always translate into a new member. And after being involved with Sandler and really truly understanding that it's not necessarily about who we are and what we do as a company or an organization, it's really about what our prospect or customer needs and what are the problems, issues, concerns that we can help them with. So after a year in Sandler training, well, not after a full year, but I had signed up for some training for my own self, and really understanding that part of selling, that kind of unique way of looking at sales and how do you communicate with people, I really changed my approach to those meetings. And instead of going in and explaining, talking for an hour about all the stuff the Chamber of Commerce could do, I started asking questions. What does that particular business person, what would they like the Chamber to do for them? What kind of help do they need? What type of problems, challenges, issues, concerns could we help them address? And I found out two things. I had much richer and productive conversations. I had shorter conversations, and we really started closing a higher percentage of the conversations that we had. So I guess the kind of lesson learned is that the conventional wisdom is that sales is about telling and features and benefits, et cetera, but it's really about understanding your prospects and clients' issues and concerns that you can help them with.
Absolutely. And I learned that when I started taking Sandler courses as well. Just really how to ask more questions and listen more. And, it really does make a huge difference. You can increase your closing ratios by, 50 to 100%. I mean, it's unbelievable what just switching gears can do for you. And I appreciate you bringing that up, because I think that's a mistake that a lot of us make. I mean, if we've never had a professional sales job, and we're entrepreneurs and we go out there and we're trying to sell our business, and we may not even be making regular appointments. We may just get a call on the phone from an ad or something, and then you get on there and you throw up all over them all the information about your business, and then they're completely overwhelmed and have no idea how you can help them in the end, and then they hang up and you wonder what happened, because you gave such a great presentation, right?
Yeah, I mean, conventional wisdom is that, hey, we need to tell the prospect all about who we are and what we do, et cetera, and, it's kind of counterintuitive to be a salesperson and sit back and ask questions and listen, and our training, Erica, and what we do, and it's really some of the most effective training that you can get, and the insights and the kind of eye-opening nature of looking at it the way we look at sales, it can really make a difference in your business or your career. A lot of times people are working very hard. They are doing all the right things. They go to networking events. They do their LinkedIn prospecting. They ask for referrals. They're making cold calls. But unless they're doing it effectively, okay, it's a lot of wasted energy and a lot of wasted time and resources. So we really try to promote is being effective in the sales process and having a sales process.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think that's great information, and I think it's a painful lesson to learn, especially if you're working for somebody else and that's their thing, their whole training. I worked for, I won't say the name of the company, but you know who I'm talking about, where it was all about the company story, and the VP of sales, which is like several positions up from my direct manager, would literally come in and make sure that you knew the company story, and they would all go on the sales meetings with you, and they would make sure that you said the company story, and it could be a 10-minute, 15, 20-minute story. It was ridiculous, and by the you could just see the prospects falling asleep, and like, hey, when are we going to get to talking about us? So when you think about it, it really does make sense to do it the way that you're talking about. So I think that's great advice. And if you're working for yourself, it's easier to institute, than sometimes when you're working for a company that hasn't had Kevin's training. And by the way, just to mention that over the years, I've taken the Sandler courses, the President's Club, twice. So that's a $2,000 course at the time. I don't know what the different things are that you have now, but twice I've taken it, and a couple of times I've signed up for their year-long online training, which just has so many incredible courses and downloadable worksheets to help you get these sales processes down. So, I mean, to give you a little plug there, Kevin, I mean, it is an incredible training, and I think that it's much better than any other sales training out there, because it is realistic about how people really react and how you should really approach people. So you'll see incredible results right away if you give Kevin a call after this interview. So let's see. I wanted to talk about, we do a lot of information about marketing here, and typically when I talk to people, they're working on doing online, offline marketing. Really, your marketing is, I mean, you do a lot with phone and referrals, and I mean, is that the combination that's working best for you? Are there other marketing combinations that have really stood out for you and the results that you're getting?
Well, good question. In my role as a Sandler trainer and coach, for the record, we're 100% commission sales people. So for any of you out there that are running your own business or are in the same position, we feel your pain. So we have to make best use of all of our prospecting avenues that we can. So that would include cold call prospecting. It would include referrals. It would include networking events. It would include doing free talks, and increasingly it includes social media, Erica, which would be the tie-in back to you. So
right.
Yeah. So how do we take all these kind of prospecting activities, find out which ones work best for us, our business and our industry, and then become more effective in not only prospecting, but also converting those prospecting calls or situations into appointments and eventually close business.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that you have a very special formula to share with us today, and I think this would be a really good time to bring that up. We were talking earlier about how to, when you're out doing all of those things that you talked about, and even in social media marketing, even though you're not saying the words, maybe it's in writing, but making sure that you're using this particular sales algorithm, let's say, and let's talk about exactly what it is, if you don't mind breaking it down for us.
Sure. So it kind of ties back to part of the conversation we had earlier, where to be effective in sales, you have to make it about your prospect or your customer. It can't be about you. At some point, it'll be about your solutions and what you can do to help them with their problems or issues. But until you find and understand the problems and issues that your prospect is having, it's really just kind of like a features and benefits dump about you. So what you're talking about, Erica, is some of the stuff that we do in our training, and it's I can't go too deep into it here because we just don't have enough time, and the setup's not the right way. But as you know, we talk about our 30-second commercial on Sandler, and it's alternatively referred to as like an elevator pitch or your positioning statement or whatever you want to call it. in Sandler, we work with our clients to help them to develop a kind of different approach and different look. And what that would be to, instead of going into your pitch or your 30-second commercial or your features and benefits dump, we train our clients to develop pain hooks. And pain hooks are emotional drivers that connect with your prospect or client that help them to understand that they may have a problem or issue and help you uncover what that problem issue, that then you can go back and have a thorough discussion and talk about, hey, how does my product or service address your issues? How can I help you? And really, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's helping our customers and customers and prospects solve their problems. And again, unless you've had some training, unless you're oriented that way, unless you understand, what the talking scripts look like, et cetera, you can be doing a lot of prospecting, a lot of this activity, and not getting the results you want because you're either turning a prospect off. The prospect just thinks, hey, this guy's all about him and not about me, and this is one of the building blocks of developing that trusted advisor relationship and your own trusted advisor skill set, so that you can really help your customers and be more effective in your business development.
Yeah, I think that's great. And like one of the things that I learned from you guys is that when I'm giving that 30-second speech, 30-second elevator pitch, what I should do is think about 3 pain hooks that that may be maybe causing someone who would use my service pain. So for me, it might be we work with people who are completely overwhelmed by social media. They'd like to get leads out of it, but they have no idea where to get started. Or people that are frustrated with the lack of leads coming from the video marketing that they are doing, and they just find that they have no idea why they're putting out great content but nothing's coming back. And clients that are really trying to just add another zero to their revenue for the year, and they are confused as to how to get that done. So something like that might be good for my business.
I can tell you've learned from a very good trainer, Erica. And I like how you use those what we call emotional hook words: overwhelmed, frustrated. I mean, as a salesperson, that's what your antenna should be tuned into. When you're talking to somebody about them and their business, you want to be tuning into words like concern, frustrated, angry, anxious, upset, overwhelmed, pissed off, whatever it is, okay, that they're kind of emotionally involved with, whatever they're struggling with. That's what you want to truly understand and actually dig into that a little bit, so that you really kind of can scope out the situation and see if there is a fit between you and your prospect. But unless they're experiencing some of these issues and concerns, it's not going to be a must-have or a need-have. It's going to be a nice-to-have. And we know that people get motivated and make decisions and take action quicker and more decisively when there's an issue to address. When they have pain, and pain is a term that we use in Sandler all the time, that, look, we're trying to uncover our prospect's pain. And it's not because we're statists or anything like that. It's because
Right.
when a prospect has pain, it makes our job easier. And it gives us a tip that there's probably a fit here. Now, there's some other qualification steps in our process. You know, pain is one of them. If a prospect doesn't have any pain, there's probably a small likelihood that we're going to ever end up doing business. But if you can get pain on the table, you can understand their budget for solving that pain, and you know, we have a lot of training around understanding the budget step and money step, and then also understand the decision-making process. Now that is the three steps in Sandler qualifying: pain, budget, decision, and now you have something, okay? And now you have something that you can kind of move forward on. Now you might be in a position to start doing some presentation of your solution to help that prospect overcome that pain, the issues, concerns, challenges.
Absolutely, and you know, it is like you said. I wish we had. You could come in and you teach people for days and months on these processes and continually go over the steps and practice with them and role play and talk about their live experiences out in the field and how they could have, you know, kind of debrief them and how they could do better. So I mean, there are incredible programs, you know, where we're just scratching the surface really on what you guys do and exactly what the process is. And you know, what I really like about Sandler and how they explain their services is and I don't know if they still do this, but they used to call it the Sandler submarine, and they talk about all the different compartments of a submarine being the different compartments of the sales process. You know, so you'd start off with, you know, bonding and rapport, and you know, you'd end up with, you know, closing the sale and then closing the sale again. I forget like all of the different pieces, but you know, I don't know if you want to go over just what they're called, not get into what they are, but.
Yeah, sure. So kind of let me take a little bit of a different tack with that, Erica. So Sandler is the largest sales training organization in the world, and it's really sales and leadership training or sales and management training. And the whole kind of magic formula with Sandler is that a lot of what we do is process, all right? And the reason why process works is because it's replicatable. You can use it to evaluate your performance. You can use it to improve your performance, and you can use it to scale within your organization. And that includes management processes, including hiring process, pre-call planning process, debriefing your sales team, just numerous, you know, management type processes, but then sales processes, and our kind of like one of our best known processes is our sales process. And just quickly, without doing that deep dive, like you said, the process is a 7-step process where the first step is bonding and rapport, and that means really truly understanding your prospect or client, not this hey, did you catch the Patriots game this week and that sort of thing. It's really scientific frameworks like DISC and transactional analysis and neurolinguistic programming and active listening and okay, not okay theory, just all that stuff you really need to understand. It's human dynamics. And then, you know, what's often been called the genius of the Sandler selling system is the upfront contract, which is a step in the process where we leave nothing to confusion, no mutual mystification. We're going to explain to the prospect what's going to happen in the meeting, what's going to happen on the sales call, and what the potential outcomes could be, and what's going to happen next if you know, depending on how the call goes, which really kind of sets you up to get open and honest conversation with a prospect or client, and really help kind of that bonding and rapport piece. Then the next three steps is, like I told you, having that conversation around pain, the challenge, issues, concerns. Further, have a conversation around budget or money, what kind of budget set aside to deal with that issue. Hey, finding out how much the challenge or issue is costing that prospect or client, helping them understand that. A lot of times I'm in front of customers that are experiencing all kinds of issues, and they haven't even quantified what is this costing me personally in my pocket, or what's it costing the organization in sales and margin. So that is an important part of the conversation to have. And then decision step, which is not only, hey, who's the decision maker, but how do you make decisions? What's your criteria for making decisions? When are you going to make decisions? All that, really flushing that out. I found in sales a lot of times that is where you lose the sale, not truly understanding the decision-making process, and it kind of derails somewhere. And then after you've qualified, then we have what we call our fulfillment step, which is really our presentation step, or our features and benefits part, where we will present our solutions to the pains, the issues, challenges, and concerns that the prospect has. And then if that goes well, we have post-sale step, which is where we really talk up to the prospect about buyer's remorse, avoiding backouts, what's setting an upfront contract for what the next steps look like. A lot of times, you hear conventional wisdom, once you get your yes, shut up and get out of there. And Sandler, we're always curious and we're always skeptical. So part of the process is going to be making sure that that nothing's going to happen once we walk out that door after that meeting. That the agreement that we just kind of got on the page with our prospect with is actually going to happen.
I love that. We're always skeptical. And you should be, because they're skeptical of you too. So you want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. I love it. I love the process. And as I said, I've been through it many times. Now I want to make sure we get through the rest of the questions. I'm not going to ask you the question about the best course you've ever taken. I think that would be a given. Because we've discussed that. But what are you reading right now?
So Sandler is Erica, and in the last couple of years, they've really ramped it up with producing their own books. We have some of the most amazing salespeople in the world that are part of the Sandler network, and to bring their expertise out into the world. I mean, it's been a priority of Sandler over the last 3 or 4 years. There's a great book by my favorite Sandler trainer, John Rosso, called Prospecting the Sandler Way. Just incredible, real world, I don't want to say training, but real world kind of information about how to prospect effectively, and a lot of it goes back to really understanding that customer. And John actually goes into the talk tracks, the scripts that you would use to kind of in his book, and he also does some LinkedIn and email marketing stuff in there as well. So that's one book I've kind of been reading a lot. Another great book that I found that has been very impactful is The Mental Keys to Sales Success by an author named Michael Anthony. And a lot of it is about overcoming your self-limiting beliefs. We know in sales it's difficult. We know there's challenges every day. We know we get way more no's than we get yeses. We know that we've had psychological scripting from when we were very young that goes straight against being effective in sales. Michael Anthony's book, and we do a lot of this in Sandler, and I think there's a lot of kind of compatibility with all of our Sandler training around this topic. And what Michael has put together in his book, I just find it, it's a book that I've been recommending. I've been talking to the author directly because I believe that the content is so great, and I want to use it in our training. And I'm trying to expose more of the Sandler people to his book, and a lot of it's very simple, and a lot of your most effective strategies in life and in business and sales are simple, but it's having the right mindset and technique and willpower to kind of execute on that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love those books. So everyone take note of that, and definitely add that to your reading list if you want to get all of the knowledge that Kevin has in his head. I've often said this. I wish I could just take your brain and put it in my head. So that when I'm out on these sales calls, I've just got you and what you know and the way that you do it. So, but unfortunately, that isn't possible. And so the next best thing is taking one of the courses, reading these books, getting your feet wet, and then really diving in if you love it. Which I can imagine you not.
You have a hotline number too, so you know you can call anytime.
Exactly. I know, and I do. Let's see here. So the next thing. Oh, sorry. Something going on outside. What is the next big thing in your industry? Is there any technology or any new techniques that you think are going to hit the scene big coming up this year in 2017?
Yes, and the foundation of our training is live training. It's just like physical fitness training. There's not you're not going to get much better or much fitter by watching videos of people training. You're not going to get any better by you're not going to get any more fit by going to the gym one time. Okay, so the kind of our training is designed to be more kind of long-term, in-person. As a trainer, we bring it into your world. But I will say, kind of on what we had talked about before, Sandler is advancing, and they are becoming multimodal in their training delivery. So you've done Sandler Online, Erica, which is a good supplement to the live training, and there's just a ton of content on there. And this month they're announcing a relaunch of that whole site, and there's going to be a ton more content on there. There's 500 hours of sales training, 500 hours of sales management training on there. So that's a great opportunity to kind of reinforce some of the concepts. Also, all of the it's not called President's Club anymore, Erica. It's called Sales Mastery, and we've redone all the Sales Mastery training materials, all of the audio reinforcement stuff. One thing I'm really excited about, though, is another program that we've offered, which is live virtual training. So we are doing every Monday, so it's 4 times a month. We're doing live training with one of the it's like a webinar training like this, but it's with a live Sandler trainer, one of the best in the country, and it's interactive where you can ask questions, where you can, it's absolutely incredible. They are doing sales process, they're doing coaching. Another thing that Sandler's big into now is enterprise selling. How do we navigate these very large organization and sell into these organizations, and then also sales management. So there's 4 different tracks. It's live, virtual. It's 4 times a month, but depending on what you sign up for, it's once a month. And again, it's just another way for us to reinforce our contact and kind of deliver it in a different model.
That's fantastic. So I love that. I've been doing webinars for a while now, and I've just recently started this interview series. But I mean, part of it is if we get the word out fast enough, which this was we did a little bit of a last minute, but having a live audience that can ask you questions is really valuable for them. Excuse me, and for you, because you get to touch base with your audience and see what they have to say. So that's really good. We're running up against the clock. So what I wanted to ask you is there a place that they can get your information, or is there anything that you're offering the audience that you'd like to let us know about now?
Sure. All my contact information is on my LinkedIn page, and I'd love to link up with anybody who is in the sales field or who owns their own business, or who is interested by some of the things we've discussed in the last hour. It's Kevin Donahue. My phone number is 781-718-2409. Kevin.Donahue@Sandler.com. I'd also like to offer Erica, anybody who is interested in some more information, maybe a 1-hour free consultation. And what that would look like is we come in and discuss some of your sales challenges, talk to you about some of the things that you might want to do to address some of those challenges. And hey, sometimes what we find is that some of the stuff you're already doing is really good stuff, and you can validate that you're doing some really good stuff. Sometimes it's a combination of both. Hey, you need to improve in one area and maybe not, so much in another area. So a 1-hour free consultation. Anybody who's interested, be happy to sit down and meet with folks.
Okay, fantastic.
We also
and I've been through that process before. I think it's I think it's wonderful. It's great to see what's going well and what you can improve on, and I think it's eye-opening too.
A lot of times people are caught up in running their businesses. They're caught up in the grind of sales. They're caught up in this like flurry of activities, and sometimes we're not thoughtful about what we're doing. Sometimes we need to just sit back, take an assessment, find out what's working, what's not working, how we can improve, and then kind of move forward from there. Because what we don't want to be doing is, again, spending a lot of time, energy, money, resources, etc., on activities that aren't being fruitful for us. So be happy to sit down. I love talking sales with folks. I love understanding. Back from my days of running the Chamber of Commerce, I've had experience with a lot of different industries, and with my Sandler training, a lot of different types of industries, a lot of different types of businesses, very large businesses down to one-man bands. And I'm always happy to talk business development, sales, and how to grow your business with anybody.
Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you very much, Kevin, for coming on the show today. You're a wealth of information on sales, and even if you just implement one of the ideas that Kevin put out there today, I know that you're going to see a lot of results. Before we go, I just want to remind everybody that the Daily Lead Campaign website is going to have a special page with all of these Great Minds, Great Marketing interviews. So if you love this interview and you want to watch it again, or you want to look at some of the other topics that we've been covering that have to do with sales and marketing, then by all means go to the website and look at the Great Minds, Great Marketing. Also, I am going to have a new page where you can see all of my stage presentations and my TV presentations. So I'll be coming up. I was just on TV a few months ago. I've got 2 more appearances. The topics before were mistakes that business owners make online, and this week we're going to be talking about video marketing, and what are the reasons why you should have video marketing, and why you're making a huge mistake if you don't, and what are some of the things to get those videos to get the leads that you need. So just keep that in mind. I'm looking forward to seeing you on our next interview, and so stay tuned for the upcoming information on that. You'll see it all on social media soon. We actually have another one today at 2 o'clock, so it's going to be great. Thanks again, Erica Del Signore, founder of Daily Lead Campaign, and you've been watching Great Minds, Great Marketing. Have a great day.